My name is Kym Anthony. I'm CEO of a Canadian health tech company called Avivagen, listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange and the OTCQB market in the US. I'll take you through the presentation now. Next. First, the forward-looking statements. All of you know this routine in case there are any forward-looking statements that I make. Next. So what is our product? Our product is a development over the last 10 years that a very interesting new science. What does it address? It addresses the health of every animal or species that ingests it. In an immediate term, it addresses the use of antibiotics in livestock feed, and which is the largest contributor to antibiotic resistance worldwide. We have a very attractive business model. Once the customer adopts, they see how well it works, and it creates a recurring, increasing revenue model. We have seen an accelerating sales growth in the livestock market, where there are many applications, not just to eliminate antibiotics from feed, but for the overall health of animals, including dairy and sows and fish. We've been being approved in many countries and with increasing markets as a result. We have companion animal sales on Amazon with a joint venture with Mimi's Rock under their Dr. Tobias brand. It's a very successful product which has a great impact on your dogs in particular. And we have a launch, it says near term, but it's really the soft launch is next week, the 25th, with the hard launch on the 1st, again through Dr. Tobias, Mimi's Rock, on Amazon. Next. So what is our product? It's called OxC-beta, which stands for oxidized carotenoids. It's particular beta carotene. It's patent protected, and it supports immune health and reduces inflammation. It does not activate your immune system, but it primes it, makes it more effective, quicker, and more efficient in its response to bacteria and viruses. It supports immune health. It increases optimal health of all living beings. It's available in powder, capsules, chews, etc., and it's affordable. And it's like the discovery of a new vitamin in that many people have found that in livestock and in people, this product, which is normally available, it's ubiquitous, is like discovering a missing vitamin. Next. We have 3 distinct markets for our product. One is livestock, one is for companion animal, as I mentioned, and coming soon, i.e. in the next 2 weeks, a product for human health. Each of these verticals represents an enormous global market, and we have, as I mentioned, strong patent protection, both use patents and process patents. Next. It's an interesting thing. Most people don't realize that 80% of all antibiotics are used in feed, not to treat animals, but as growth promoters. And these are low levels of antibiotics, and which provides a breeding ground for antibiotic resistant bacteria. So slowly but surely, we've been seeing the agreement to ban these AGPs country by country. And the biggest one was China this past July, has eliminated AGPs, which impacts largely the swine and poultry industries in China, and all those exporting to China have to be the same as for EU. It's not enough that you grow without AGPs, grow livestock. It's that if they import, it also has to be proven to be without AGPs. So this is a big move that China did it, and opens a gateway for our product. Next. This antibiotic resistance, it's not been in the news lately because of COVID and other pressing needs, but it is a major global threat. And it's the reason why all countries that have belonged to the UN signed an agreement that they will work towards eliminating antibiotics in feed. in it. If nothing's done by 2050, you could see that the cost to global health systems is off the chart. Next. First, the livestock feed market. It's not only for reducing the use of antibiotics, but in some areas there is no antibiotic use anyway, such as dairy cattle. And we've seen, because if you feed dairy cattle antibiotics, you have to throw away the milk. But by feeding it to dairy cattle, particularly in their calving process and surrounding that, there's a great reduction in bacteria, reduction in somatic cell count, protein. Then this is in published papers that are actually being published now, and in many commercial trials, which has allowed us to expand our market into dairy. Also, swine market. We started with piglets because it reduced E. coli. It allowed us to take them off of AGPs and off of zinc oxide, and there's better piglet health. But we've recently expanded into the sow market, where the sows, again, they don't receive AGPs because they're not trying to grow them, but it has resulted in really improved sow health, quality of milk, quality of passive immune going through the colostrum and milk to the piglets, and quite frankly, less runts and reduced mortality as a result. And in poultry, same thing. Again, our product does not act on the bacteria, but acts on the health of the animal. So the animal is able to fight. Now, you may think that because of that, it's not that effective because it's not a direct action. But if you look at a common bacterial infection of poultry, Clostridium perfringens, we found that poultry, broiler chickens have reduced their amount of that bacteria by 99%, 2 to 3 logs, as a result of being fed very minute amounts of our product. Next. We've been going through the approval process. We're approved in many large markets. The U.S., we have self-affirmed GRAS. We're just in the process of going for our FDA no objection letter. We're approved in Mexico, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Taiwan, Malaysia, Philippines, where our biggest customer was until recently. They're still there, but we've got some other customers that are passing them. And we're in application or in process in important markets like China and Canada. Next. The benefits of OxC-beta, it is terrific. It replaces AGPs. It outperforms other alternatives. We've done trials, and big companies have done trials, not just us, that compare ourselves to antibiotics, where there's no reduction in production for the animals because their overall health is better, and it clearly outperforms other alternatives that are on the market today, and it has a positive impact on overall health. Next. So just an example, Philippines, Unaco started just with 150 kilograms of our 10% product, slowly building up, saw the results with their customers. The darn stuff actually works. And we saw their biggest order yet just last October with a 4-ton order. And again, once customers start on it, feed distributors like Unaco, their customers report back significantly improved results, and they slowly increase. Next. Mexico is a very interesting case study because we got approval a year and a half ago or so in Mexico, regulatory approval. We published the results of a dairy trial, a big comprehensive dairy trial in New Zealand last February. A company called Melder tried it in a herd of a customer of theirs. The results were outstanding in terms of improved quality of milk, reduced bacteria, reduced somatic cell count. They got financial rewards from their bulk milk purchaser. And they also sent some chronically ill cows, their milk, to the local state health authorities. And there was a significant, i.e. 2/3 reduction in brucellosis bacteria, which is a stubborn, difficult disease. So as a result, they took their initial 250, 50, then 250 kilogram order and moved it to 2 tons. And then last fall, they put in an order for this coming year of 10 tons spread over the year. And we're seeing continued commercial trials, and you'll see the results of those in terms of new orders in the very near future, i.e. the coming weeks. Next. Mexico, these are global developments. The 10-ton purchase order by Melder is significant, but I think you're going to see in the very near term, we've got eyeballs on significant sales increase in orders out of Mexico. We got approval in Brazil, and we signed a distribution agreement, and we've got trials underway there. New Zealand, this big dairy trial, massive trial that we did, the well-known researcher, Dr. Scott McDougall, said it's the first time he's seen a non-antimicrobial, a non-antibiotic have the success that we did in a cure rate. We don't like to use the word cure because that connotes a drug, but the fact is they measured the elimination of different types of bacteria on animals with subclinical mastitis, and it was very successful. And he's written a paper on it, and it's in submission, gone through revision, and it's about to be published. It's available on an open server. We retained Kofco Biotech to assist with the approval of our product in China. They've given us a pathway, and there is such a need for this, as you can imagine, in China, in both swine, poultry, and particularly in dairy, where I've visited dairy herds in northeastern China, and there's a very big need for a revitalization of the health of their dairy herd, and it's the largest herd in the world. Next. So in the livestock market, which is a billion-ton-a-year feed market, it's enormous. So it's like a set of dominoes. It's been hard hand-to-hand combat getting into the process with large customers, technical sales, and now we're doing it. And I think you'll see an enormous increase in our sales from our existing partnerships and clients this year, and we will gain regulatory approval in other important countries this year. And we will do additional distribution deals in approved markets. Next. So, who are we up against? Prebiotics, probiotics. We've done trials. Other people have done trials against these other technologies. We consistently come out ahead. Zinc oxide is something that is given to piglets to help, which binds to E. coli. It is effective, but the amounts that you've got to give to the piglets crowds out other nutrients and is being banned in many countries because of its impact on the environment. Our product is next generation, but we've done so many trials, and it's been in use now in several countries, so that we feel very comfortable of its market positioning. Next. The companion animal market is interesting. If you've got an older dog that has, particularly those with arthritis or inflammation is in the case of hot spots on their coat, this is a perfect product. We launched it with a dog chew with Mimi's Rock under their Dr. Tobias brand. You can go and buy it on Amazon. It is very effective with 1 or 2 chews per dog per day based on the size of the dog. We also sell under a different brand name to Taiwan and through Taiwan into China. We are approved in Canada as well as the US, and we've sold some into Mexico. We will be looking at a bigger plan in Mexico in this coming year. Next. The human health market, it is a big market, and if you think of our product and what it does, and I've been taking it, as many of us have been, and it makes an an enormous difference in terms of my immune system, the anti-inflammatory aspect. You know, it does what it does. I mean, it's perfect for the time of COVID, and we will be launching it. It'll be in the form of capsules, and you just take it as in 1 or 2 capsules a day, and it's very effective as both an immune enhancer, a gut improver, and an anti-inflammatory. And it is a vast. We'll be starting slow on Amazon under the Dr. Tobias brand, and we'll be building it up and getting approvals elsewhere as we move forward. Next. We are listed on the TSX Venture Exchange, as I mentioned, and the OTCQB. We have 41 million shares outstanding. We have a small market capitalization. There's a lot of upside as our sales come in over the next quarter or two. We have several small institutional holders, but not many. The biggest would be Bloom Burton in their fund. Next. We have some well-known names. Many of you might know Jeffrey Cross and Aubrey Dan on our board. Dr. Graham Burton was the discoverer of the product, and he is still our chief scientific officer. Next. So just in summary, our product is effective, it is cost effective, it's affordable, it addresses one of the world's largest health problems, antibiotic resistance, at the source. We have an attractive business model. It results in recurring, increasing revenues once a customer adopts. That's the struggle, and now we're getting there. We've got accelerating sales in the livestock market where volumes are high. We're ramping up with existing customers and new customer wins. I mean, we've got customers, for example, in the pet food market in Taiwan that are now, we've just agreed to let them put our logo on their package to differentiate their product. It's been that effective. And we will be launching our human health supplement, as I said, a soft launch next Monday, and then a hard launch the following week on Amazon, and then we will be taking that to other jurisdictions. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Thanks, Kym. This is Joe Gomes from Noble. We're going to start the Q&A session now. If you wish to ask a question, please click on the lower right corner of the video window. Very, very interesting presentation, Kym. Let's kind of go back. You talked a little bit about the patent protection. You know, OxC-beta was, you know, as you said, a discovered product. You know, are we protected against, let's say, a generic coming in? You know, how can you give us a little more color or detail on the patent protection of the product?
Yes, we have 6 families of patents, over 31, maybe 32 now. I think we're about to get another one. And those patents take a couple of forms. One of them are use patents, and the other is process patents. The manufacture of our product, even though it can occur and does occur spontaneously in nature, it is a very difficult product to actually manufacture. And it took years of working with our toll manufacturer to develop it in a pure and cost-effective way. Now, yes, animals can accidentally get it, but it is the result of a very interesting process involving solvents and beta-carotene crystals. And there's no beta-carotene in our product, even though that's the main input. Humans do get our product if you eat enough dried tomatoes or powdered carrots, etc. The thing I would say about our product, though, is you can eat a dozen oranges, or you can take one 500 milligram tablet of vitamin C, and the thing is, it's like we've got a patent on the process for developing the vitamin C. So, you know, you're never 100% safe from somebody accidentally doing it, but we're as protected as we feel we can be.
Great. And pardon me, I got a little frog in my throat here for a second.
You could use our product.
Exactly. So you're looking at getting approvals or have approvals in that process in a lot of different countries. And you also mentioned you're doing a lot of trials. In each country, can you kind of like give us, you know, high level view? What's the time frame to go for get that approval process? And do you have to do trials in each country, or is there any flow over? Hey, we've done it here in the U.S. We can use the U.S. success for, you know, this next country, or does each kind of country require you to do trials each time?
Well, it's a mixture. We don't have to do trials each time for the regulatory approvals. That we don't have approval in Europe. Europe is different. But for the most part, we've done so many trials in so many different types of climates and jurisdictions, from China to the U.S. to Mexico to Philippines, at universities, at commercial farms. There's a body of work around our product that is quite extensive. What does happen, though, and I would take Mexico as an example, and the same things are going on with large producers in Thailand and elsewhere, where a customer says, you know, before I make a commitment, a big commitment, I'd like to try it on one of my customers' herds. And that's exactly what happened in Mexico. And even then, it results in smaller guys saying, hey, that's great news, I'll also buy. And some other larger guys saying, you know what, I'd like to see it on one of my customers or my herd first before I commit. And so there's a mixture of those types of things going on around the world. Everybody likes to think they're special. And so they want to, you know, they want to see it. And a lot of it depends on whether the customer is a large corporate or an owner-operator. The owner-operator tends to want to move quicker. The large corporate wants to cover their backside, and so they want to have additional trials in their market. So we've got additional trials. As I said, we've gone through several with this very large producer in Thailand. We're reaching the end of that process, and we've got additional people that have tried it in different types of species in Mexico. That's why I'm so confident about the sales ramp up. But it is like a set of dominoes. You know, the hardest ones are the first ones to knock over, and then it becomes easier and easier as we go forward.
Okay, thank you for that. And you talk about, you know, you have a large market opportunity. Can you kind of size that for us in terms of dollar potential? I mean, if we're doing, I think you mentioned 1 billion tons in the size of the animal feed market, you know, what could that mean for the company in terms of revenues?
Well, if you think of every ton of our product, it has 100 kilograms of our active, okay, and every ton of our product is around just under $1 million of sales. It depends on the market, and it depends, and there's, you know, there's a margin, sort of what I would call in the livestock market, it's more of an industrial type margin, although it's a healthy industrial margin. If you look at Mexico, we could very easily over the, you know, I don't want to make this a prediction, but Mexico could result in, just Mexico could result in $10 million of sales for us without having a significant share of the overall market. If you translate that to other countries like Philippines, probably half of that, but China and the US, which have 200 million tons of feed per market, you're looking at vast multiples. Same with Brazil and Europe. So over time, we will see our pathway to growth being very, I'm hesitant to say, but the market opportunity is in the hundreds of millions of dollars of sales for us, and a healthy manufacturing type margin. The fact is, though, is that we will probably, for some of those markets, do deals with other large distributors to penetrate those markets, and therefore our margin will be less, but the sales will be more. So it's massive, and it's taken us several years to get to this point, but now we're at a point where things are starting to accelerate.
Okay. And a little bit on the human health and wellness, we got a question here from the audience saying, for the U.S. human market, what's the real difference between the plethora of regular beta-carotene supplements versus the OxC-beta carotene?
Okay, well, the OxC-beta, and I mentioned this before, it's hard to get your mind around it a little bit, in that although the starting point is beta-carotene, if you're buying beta-carotene in the market, it's a coated product so that it doesn't oxidize. When you're buying our product, there is zero beta-carotene in it. There is our active ingredient is 100% a new product. The beta-carotene molecules bind with oxygen to form new polymers. There's two types of polymers, long string and short string. The short chopped ones, the light molecular weight molecules, are well known and well researched. They're used as fragrances. The smell of a rose, for example, is those short, they're called noripsipenoids. The long string polymers are the ones that have the most interesting biological activity. And those have no vitamin A activity, there's nothing, but they have a direct impact on your immune system through priming, not activating, priming CD14 and multiplying the number and the expression of toll-like receptors that you have. I'll just get technical for a minute. And those toll-like receptors are like sentries on a wall that keep a lookout for bacteria and viruses. And they enable your body to focus on new bacteria faster and more specifically. Different toll-like receptors identify different gram-positive, gram-negative bacteria, etc. The other thing is that it has a direct cellular level impact on inflammation, so 2 to 4 times more than glucosamine. Now, the product that we've created for the market also has some beta-carotene in it because there is benefit from the vitamin A, but our main active, the OxC-beta, does not have any beta-carotene in it, even though it starts from that. So it's a little bit confusing, I know, but our product is very different, completely different than any sort of regular beta-carotene product that's out there. Okay,
thank you. If we're looking like we're getting into an exciting period of ramping growth, what's your production capacity look like? Will there be a need for investment to ramp up production capacity here? And I'll just, kind of follow on to that, does that mean we'll need additional capital, or do you think the capital structure as we are today is sufficient to handle the near-term growth prospects?
I think that's a multi-layered question. In terms of production capacity, we have enough production capacity with our existing system right now to handle a tremendous amount of growth. In the future, there may be a need, and that'll be a good problem to have, where we've got enough product sales increases that we will have to increase our production capacity. But it's not a problem. In terms of capital structure, we'll need more capital in the near to middle term. But after that, we will have enough capital to finance foreseeable growth.
Excellent. It just kind of circle back here kind of on the approval process. you talked about you're waiting for the FDA. I think you said no objection letter. Any idea of timing on that, when you can start making some sales here in the U.S.?
We can make sales in the U.S. today.
Okay.
We have a 1,200-page self-affirmed GRAS dossier with a very prestigious panel and trial, so we can sell today. We just published a chemistry paper, which for those of you who are chemists, you might want to take a look at it. It's on a we didn't publish it, sorry, it's been submitted, but it's on an open server. And it'll be followed by another safety paper, and it's on the back of that safety paper that we are applying for our FDA no objection letter. That no objection letter takes a long time, but as long as you've applied for it, then you can act as if you have it, if you've got all these other pieces in place. And that allows interstate commerce and stuff, different. It makes it a lot easier to increase your sales. But we can sell today.
Great. And maybe you could talk a little bit more about the joint venture there with Dr. Tobias, and how that is rolling out. What's been the acceptance so far, on Amazon, and where do you think that could go?
Well, the Dr. Tobias joint venture is actually a true joint venture. Like it's a 50-50 joint venture. We each put in our input costs, and then we split the proceeds. The companion animal is been slow but steady. Hasn't got a lot of. We didn't do much advertising on it. The human version, I expect, once we get out there, then we'll have an advertising program. And it's they're one of the largest, or the largest, I'm not sure, human supplement seller on Amazon today. And so we're just delighted that we're in bed with these guys, and they've got all the machinery that we don't have to replicate. And it's just a matter of how much advertising we do, because the product is extremely effective.
In talking about that advertising, when you start to roll out here on the human health and wellness, how do you plan on attacking that market, given the fact that there's as the question from the audience was, there's just a plethora of other products out there with all kinds of claims of being able to do all kinds of miraculous things for the human body.
Well, look, it is a tough market out there. There's no question. But one of the things that's true is that the product is unique. You can't just buy it elsewhere, and it has a unique action on the human body. And Dr. Tobias already has a great penetration and a great market following. So we're not having to do this ourselves. This is Dr. Tobias reaching out through their customers to increase sales. So we have a real leg up there. That this is, look, we're not a consumer products company. We're relying on those that are. And I for example, I'm so ignorant, I wanted to call it the Wuhan Wall because of its actions, but that got quickly shot down. But look, there's no doubt that the questioner is correct, that it is a tough market out there. But we're also, in bed and with a joint venture with somebody that's been very effective in selling other products in a competitive market landscape. So from that standpoint, we're optimistic, and we feel we're in safe hands.
So we got a couple of minutes left, and just, maybe you could give us what you see as the biggest challenges for the company to achieve its growth goals, and how you think you can overcome any of those challenges that pop up.
Well, on the human side, the questioner is exactly right. How to differentiate your product, and that's going to be a matter of reach of Dr. Tobias and money. On the livestock side, I won't say it's all behind us, but a lot of the hard slogging, it always takes longer and takes more money than you think. But we're at a point now where I've got vision on a sales projections and sales cone, if you will, that is very, very helpful, and it does feed on each other. The other thing is that we are talking to other large distributors for some of the markets that we don't sell into today. We can always be sold more in somebody else's hands. You know, somebody that has hundreds of technical salespeople and 30 products. It's easier to sell to customers through them, but it's also less profitable. So we've been taking that balance of getting more profitable sales, demonstrating our product, demonstrating the usefulness of our product, and then we've had large distributors over the last 6 months or so come to us quite aggressively. So we'll see how that unfolds.
Great. Well, Kym, we really appreciate you taking the time to do the presentation here at NobleCon17. Really think this is an interesting story here going forward on multiple levels, not only, you know, from the livestock and the companion animals, but definitely on that human health side. And we look forward to seeing, you know, how the company achieves its goals here going forward. Again, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Joe.